Rise and Premonition, Chapter 1, On the Run. On the streets walked a little boy, following the same path he always did, a stick in his hand. Left, right, up and down, he swung it like a sword. Left, up, right, down, left and right again. Dressed in ragged old clothes and shoes that were nearly falling apart, he imagined himself a great knight in shining silver armor. In his mind, he was battling a mighty, ancient dragon. He had no coordination with his wooden weapon, but he didn't care. Every strike in his imagination landed, defeating some terrible foe. "Hey, is that the Twig Boy?" a voice called from far away. The boy froze, fear creeping in. He turned, and to his horror, saw exactly who he had hoped not to see. John and his group of friends. They always called him Twig Boy because of how thin he was. Knowing what was coming, Daniel bolted, running as fast as he could to escape them. The boys shouted and gave chase. He ran through the narrow streets of his hometown, weaving between townsfolk, heart pounding. If only he were as strong as a knight, or at least a little faster, he might have escaped them. Left, right, left, right, 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 left. Being so skinny had its perks. He could slip through the crowd without bumping into anyone. "Come here, Twig Boy," the boys shouted, their voices getting closer. Daniel's legs began to burn, heavy with exhaustion. "No, no, please, no," he begged under his breath, pushing himself to keep going. But when a hand grabbed his shoulder, he knew it was over. "Always with that stupid stick," John sneered as the others caught up. Without hesitation, the boys pounced on him, fists flying. When they were done, he lay crumpled on the ground, tears mixing with dirt, too broken to rise. This was his life, beatings without mercy. But at least this time, it wasn't his father. He had walked out a year ago, leaving Daniel, his mother Diana, and his little sister Haley to survive on their own. When the pain dulled and his tears dried, Daniel pushed himself up, slow and shaky, limping on one leg. "Stupid," he whispered, scolding himself for letting his guard down. He blamed himself for not noticing them sooner. He made his way home, a small wooden cabin on the edge of town. As the sun set, casting a warm, dim light across the sky, he stepped inside, hoping his mother wouldn't notice the bruises. "For the mighty gods, Daniel, were you fighting again?" his mother asked, eyeing his torn clothes and swollen face. "I wasn't fighting," he said quietly. "Don't lie to me, Daniel. For all the gods, take off those clothes. I'll have to repair them," she said, gently inspecting his wounds. He wasn't lying. He hadn't fought back. Not once. He hadn't even raised a hand, but he couldn't tell her that. If she knew the truth, she'd march straight to those boys' mothers. And she couldn't afford that. Sometimes she worked for them, cleaning, stitching, doing whatever she could to keep food on the table. If she caused trouble, even for him, she might lose the little work she had. So he stayed quiet, took the beatings, swallowed the pain. "Go sit at the table and eat, child. I'll stitch this," she said, taking his clothes from him. "Aren't you going to eat with us?" he asked. "I already ate. Now go before the candle burns out." He sat down, knowing full well she was lying. He looked at the bowl of stew, just a few cabbage leaves and a couple of potato chunks. He didn't want to eat without her, but he had to. "Brother, why's your face like a potato again?" asked his little sister, staring at his bruises. "Because he doesn't eat his food. Now eat, both of you," their mother said, brushing it off. "Yes, Mommy," the little girl replied, pigtails bouncing as she dug into her meal. Daniel stared at his bowl. "I won't let them beat me any more," he whispered, finishing the last spoonful. He had a little sister. One day it might be up to him to protect her. If those same kids ever came for her, what could he do? Nothing. Not like this. He had to be stronger. He had to become someone his sister and mother could count on.